guess, or whatever that is. So basically, I'm in the usual intentional free time, weekly intentional free time, but I eventually try to do something that I must be done first, since basically at the time that I usually try to do it, I basically got a meeting, even though it's not a long meeting, but it is pretty unique meeting that I must attend. So I decided to do the things that I must be done first, and then try to do the good behavior recording after the meeting ends. And I only got a single recording, but it's already more than 10 minutes. But yeah, it's definitely still far from what I usually try to do, because yeah, I just don't know why this week seems to be a little bit lazy. Maybe because next week I will probably get a little bit busier than usual again, which is I basically not really like it, but yeah, I just try to go through it. Or maybe because the things that I didn't like is also got reminded again, which is need to be work in the same place rather than anywhere else, which basically very confident what I already do for the last 3 years, perhaps, I'm not sure. So basically, yeah, I don't know, the policy seems to be more strict than what it used to be heard before. So rather than quarter, and then it tried to be minimized into monthly, which is definitely annoying because it will need a lot more money to waste just to commute into the same place over and over again, or even try to be implemented bi-weekly if the amount of days are tried to be reduced on half, which is even more annoying for me, because for some reason definitely will still be in the same busyness, including the time where I basically need to stand by approximately 24/7 for every 3 weeks, perhaps, which is definitely will have the overlap time if it will be implemented in bi-weekly. So that's the reason why I'm just trying to hope that it will not happens to be like that, because it seems to be there are so many people who basically try to resist those kind of draft policy, perhaps because yeah, it's still not fixed yet. It's still tried to be analyzed, perhaps, or tried to be negotiated. I don't know, because yeah, for some reason I just it's definitely make me lazy for some reason, because yesterday I used to have unintentional free time, even though it's basically pretty short, and I'm currently do the things that I must be done, that I must do 5 times a day daily. So that's the reason why I decided not to do any productivity things at all yesterday, because yeah, it eventually got interrupted before I didn't do anything. Or maybe I'm just trying to watch YouTube, try to watch something that basically make me happy. But yeah, it's definitely not enough, because for some reason I just don't know what kind of things that can make me satisfied anymore, because I basically already tried to suppress any kind of my desire, which not really good. But yeah, it's definitely good for saving money, or even not trying to bought something that basically wasted that's basically waste for nothing. So yeah, and I just don't know how long that I basically will try to do this stream, because for some reason I still need to do the things that I usually do, even though it's basically optional. And But yeah, it is. I basically try to do the things that I already try to do it, and I just don't want to basically be a worse person than usual. Even though basically, if you talk about the change of behavior or the change of way of life, like need to work in the same place, it's definitely will make my behavior kind of like worse than usual for those time period only during the time that I must go into the same place like many people try to do, and unless I basically try to do a day off or leave during that time, but I don't know how was those gonna be tracked, because for some reason it's just already a common things before the pandemic, but right now people are just trying to come back into their normal life because pandemic is already considered over, and yeah, that's the reason there always be a war or conflict against people one another. So at some point pandemic is just much better for everyone rather than trying to fight with each other. So but I don't know whether the pandemic will ever come again or not, because for some reason many people already think it will never gonna come in this short amount of time, because yeah, if it will come again, I don't know whether the world is gonna be mid the end of the world, or it's gonna be apocalypse, or it's just gonna be make the world into a better place. I don't know. Because for some reason I already think that the world is not getting better right now, although from the pandemic's perspective it's definitely getting better, but I don't know. But besides that, I don't know, because for some reason people are getting more vigilant, I guess. I don't know what's the correct word to define that, but anyway. So last week I finally meet with my college friend again, even though with many or several additional friends, which a little bit worthy, especially when it's been a while that I not try to do that, even though I basically need to waste more money than usual, because for some reason it's more than a month that I basically didn't try to do any kind of expenses. So the only expenses that I basically try to do is just buying something that basically pretty unnecessary digitally for yeah, fulfilling my desires that as cheap as possible. But yeah, so I don't know whether this week it will be happen again or not, because for some reason not every people have an empty or free time in the weekend. So even though it's basically the first day of the weekend, which is always the best time for do that kind of things, because at the last day of the weekend it's always feels so lazy, because you always got haunted by the experience, even though it's still not working in the same place yet, but even working, just working, and you basically need to be in the same place for until the work office hours is finally end. It's just, and yeah, you basically need to think about the things that you must do as well. So that's the reason why it's basically a little bit scary, and it's even gets scarier if you basically need to do or to commute, which basically have so many uncertainty things that you will face. Because yeah, even I just recently do something basically new, or a unique meeting, and I basically got a little bit panic attack, or maybe it's just currently not feeling very well, so my stomach is just, I don't know, doesn't feel very good. So, but yeah, it only happens before the activity happens. So after that, it's getting better. But yeah, I basically still remember every time that I basically got this kind of things when I basically still school or college or even work, which basically not really matters for some people, because some people are just doesn't really care about when basically they didn't feel very well, they just not try to come at all. But I always try to come, because for some reason it's just a feelings that, or a suggestion that basically makes me not very well. So I don't know, it's already in a similar duration like the good behavior. I think I will try to stop this live stream. So yeah,